3, 2, 1, boom. People, we're back at you with another movie review.
Oh, yeah, it's showtime.
It is showtime, go time for sure. This time around, guys, we're going to be talking about the 90s action film Universal Soldier starring Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren.
Which was one of Dolph Lundgren's best acting roles in this movie.
Absolutely, sure. Absolutely. Hands down, he pulled it off, man.
Yeah.
He's a wild one in this one. Let's see. This movie came out in, says July of 1992. Many years ago. I remember seeing this film at the theaters when I was a kid, and I loved it. You know, let's see. This movie had a budget of $23 million, and the box office.
They probably spent the majority of that on that damn truck that they had built for that film.
Yeah, that was a cool truck.
That was probably the biggest, most massive semi I'd ever seen. I mean, you seen it pull up against other big rigs, and it made them look like little pickup trucks.
Yeah, they did make it pretty cool.
Yeah.
So the budget was $23 million, and the box office was $120 million. So it made money.
So they made a hell of a profit.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And you know, this is the director of like Stargate and Independence Day.
Hell yeah, that's a great film.
He's a big director, especially back in the 90s. He did a lot of big, you know, films like the Godzilla, let's see, The Day After Tomorrow, Stargate.
Yeah.
And all those, even the second Independence Day as well. But yeah, it felt like a pretty big movie, which he's known for.
I mean, which it pretty much was. I mean,
yeah.
You start off in the fucking Vietnam. I mean, I like how it goes from like different time periods. Like,
right.
It shows, you know, Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren in 1969, the Vietnam War.
Right.
And then like they jump ahead to the present day, and you see them like, you know, they still look like their same selves from 1969.
Right. To present day.
And you're just like, what the hell?
Yeah. So Universal Soldier is an American military science fiction action film.
Yeah.
And so the plot goes, you know, it's in 1969, like you said. The American team...
They're in the midst of like a big war.
Right. There's a big war going on, and an army guy is running, and Van Damme grabs him.
And Van Damme grabs a hold of him, and he's like, calm down, soldier, calm down.
Yeah.
Look at me. What happened? Where's everybody? They're dead.
Yeah.
They're fucking dead.
Yeah, the guy's like, dead, all fucking dead. Sergeant lost his mind, killed everybody and all this shit. And then he gets out, he leaves, and I think he gets blown up. And then you have a cameo by Michael Jai White behind Van Damme saying, man, I'm getting the fuck out of here. And he ends up, you know, running off. And he only had that small part in the first film. But he had a bigger part, obviously, in the second film. He was the main bad guy. But yeah, it was kind of crazy. So it shows Van Damme slowly walking to the village to where Dolph Lundgren's at.
It's just sitting in one of the huts, and
right, he's got two people captured,
showing off his necklace of like severed ears.
Yeah, which is fucking crazy. So he had somehow lost his mind. They didn't show how it happened, but
yeah, apparently he just lost his mind and just killed everybody, and just like, you know, he likes to, you know, refer to everybody as traitors. It's like,
right.
You know,
well, Van Damme walks up to him and said, "What the hell happened here?"
He's like, "We cleared it. We cleared the village.
Yeah,
everything is over. It's time to go." He's like, "It's not over."
Yeah, he says they're all fucking traitors and all this shit. And,
saying about why he was killing everybody, because he's like, they're traitors. They're all traitors.
Yeah, and he had this. He's like, can you hear me? And he's like got all these ears that are cut off on a necklace, you know, just fucking crazy. And he's telling Van Damme that you're a traitor too, aren't you, farm boy? He's like, no. And he's like, then prove it. He's like, he's pointing a gun down at one of the hostages he's got. He said to kill him.
He's got a guy and a girl tied up, and he's telling him, like, shoot the girl, and, like, shoot her, and...
Yeah, shoot him, kill the motherfucking traitor.
And the guy, like, kind of, like, jumps in front of her and gets fucking shot in the head.
Well, Van Damme's not shooting him, so Dolph Lundgren pulled out a gun and shot him.
Yeah.
And then Van Damme kicks the gun out of his hand and hits him in the face and takes her and runs off, but Van Damme ends up getting shot in the leg, and he fucking pulls out this grenade and throws it and blows her ass out. Big time.
Yeah, and him and Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren wound up shooting the shit out of each other, apparently, like, killing each other.
Yeah, because Van Damme was pissed. He got up, he ran that gun with the fucking knife at the end right into his stomach.
Yeah, and I like how Dolph Lundgren, like, at first, he's like, ah, ha, 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 ha.
No, he looks down at it, and then he just fucking pulls out a gun and starts shooting Van Damme, and Van Damme starts shooting at him, and they're gone.
Yeah.
Then, like, the next day, another group of soldiers comes in and finds them, and they're like, what the hell are we gonna,
Hey, it's like nothing. We're not gonna say anything.
Yeah, it was classified as missing in action.
Yeah, and then I love how they tell him at the, like, when they he's like, put him on ice and bring him in.
Right.
Put him on ice?
Yeah.
And you see him zipping up Van Damme in a body bag.
Yeah, so that's when they become some sort of super soldier program.
They don't really show or explain. They just flash to, like, current day. There's, like, a hostage situation.
Right.
On this, like, I would say, like, the Hoover Dam or some shit
something like that. They bring in this big ass truck with the super soldiers.
Yeah, and like, they're disclosed to show that they're, like, and the ultimate, like, assassin team. They just go in and boom, 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 boom.
And they can regenerate and all this shit. And they drop them off in the water, and they end up swimming really fast to the destination.
Yeah, and I like how, like, they're already there. He's like, they're 8 seconds behind schedule.
Yeah. And they got there within minutes, and that's when the what's her name shows up. She's a news reporter.
Yeah, she shows
up.
Allie
Walker.
Allie Walker, who, it's weird because
she ends up getting fired because she was late or something.
Yeah, well, she's acting like she's, some big hot shot. She can just show up when she wants, shoot her deal. Like, well, guess what, honey? You're fired.
Yeah. I talked to the so-and-so today, and guess what? And she's like, no, what? You're fired.
Yeah. I like how they have the thing in there with her throughout the movie. She'll always be, like, lighting up a cigarette or something, and then something will happen to that cigarette. Like, somebody will grab it and break it, or, or something. Right. Like, even when he grabbed the cigarette out of her mouth and broke it, like, you're fired.
Yeah, but these super soldiers end up going to their destination, and I like the part where they were, like, scaling down this wall.
Yeah, not just scaling. It looked like they were going downwards, but they were, like, running.
Right.
Like,
and they end up right. And they end up, like, walking up on some dudes, and they fucking take these dudes out. And I love the part where Dolph Lundgren, after he takes a dude out, he walks right up to him as he's laying down out, and he kicks him right in the fucking face. And the one guy's like...
Yeah, and he's, like, the doctor guys are, like, watching, because they got, the pieces that they have on the eye that is, like, a camera showing,
camera showing everything. And the doctor, he's like, man, I think homeboy's liking this shit,
Yeah, I think homeboy's, like, liking this shit too much.
Yeah. That's fucking hilarious, but that was a cool scene.
How about the one where they send in the one guy just to pretty much get his ass all shot up? Yeah,
and that guy, that's another Universal soldier. He's been in a couple movies as well. I've seen him, and he was in Baracus of Best of the Best 2, and he played in Gladiator.
Yeah. It's crazy that he walks up like he's just like a handyman carrying it, and he's just like walking towards him like, what the fuck is this? And like,
he gets gunned down, and that's when Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren take the rest of the guys out. And then that's when Van Damme has like this flashback scene because he sees two people that reminded him of the other's past.
Yeah, and he's remembering that, and then it seemed like Dolph Lundgren was kind of like remembering it too around that same time, because when they show him later in like their regeneration tank, or cooling tank or whatever.
Right, because they're asking Van Damme like, what went wrong? Why did you just not move?
Yeah, and he's like, they're innocent.
Right.
And it's like we cleared them, and you see Dolph Lundgren like open his eyes and look at him like, motherfucker, now I remember now.
Yeah, he's starting to remember as well. And then that's when they put the one guy that got shot up on ice, but then the reporter is taking pictures and shit.
Yeah, Allie Walker, I remember, dude, it's funny, years later they did, she played in Sons of Anarchy, and I could not stand her in Sons of Anarchy, but in this movie she was like, because I guess, she's so much younger in that movie, she was actually very pretty.
Yeah, she was pretty young at the time.
And she wasn't annoying like she was in Sons of Anarchy.
Right, different characters, but yeah, she was taking pictures, trying to figure out who the hell were these soldiers were and what was going on, and they end up seeing her on camera.
Yeah, and she runs back, gets with the one guy, get in the car to take off, and they're immediately like run off the road and fucking flip the car.
Right, they end up being pulled out by Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren, and they want the tape. And then, for some reason, Dolph Lundgren just pulls out this gun and shoots the one guy in the head, just like in the scene from the beginning.
And then Van Damme takes the girl, gets her in a truck, and takes off with her. They're like, ordering him to stop, and she takes off his eyepiece. So you don't need this shit. Fuck, get out of here.
Yeah, because the one guy who's controlling everything is like, what the fuck is going on here? He didn't realize that Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren are having flashbacks.
Yeah. What I didn't see quite get at first, but the one doctor guy that was wearing the glasses. He was the one dude from Young Guns 2.
Oh, okay.
Where he's like, "Hello, Bob." Oh shit! Goodbye, Bob.
Oh, that's crazy. But yeah, they end up driving off, and so the military team or whatever goes after them, and they end up stopping at like a motel.
Well, remember the truck at first runs out of gas.
Right, Van Damme pushes the fucking thing.
Van Damme just starts pushing and going really fast, and the chick looks down at the speedometer, and they're going like 30 miles an hour.
Right.
I'm like, there's no way you could fucking push a big ass truck like that.
Well, these guys were super soldiers.
Yeah, but still, dude, 30 miles an hour, I don't even think you can even run 30 miles an hour.
Right on. But, they end up going to a motel. They get the motel for a night. Van Damme kind of overheats.
They got to deal with that one jackass that was like,
oh,
it's $10 for this. Oh, it's a $10 that. It's a $20 cut charge.
Overcharging their ass. And Van Damme ends up overheating. And so he has to be put in a bathtub.
Yeah, and they pack him down with ice, and you see his wounds, healing. Just healing and disappear. That's what was. Oh, that's another scene I forgot about. When they were in the truck driving away, she seen that he was shot, and Van Damme just pulls out the cigarette lighter and out of the from the truck and puts it to his side. She's like, I stopped the bleeding.
Right. And at some point, the super soldiers come and start shooting up the fucking motel.
Yeah, because you find out he, even though he got rid of the the communication.
Yeah, there's a tracker on him.
Yeah, and they started shooting up the place.
Yeah, and I liked how he was going through wall. You know.
Yeah, he got to like a cement wall. They're like, "Oh, I think we have him trapped."
Yeah, and the girl's like, "Well, knock it down," and he's looking at her like, "I can't," you know.
Yeah.
So they end up going with those other couple where they end up taking their keys.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that at first. That did you see the awkward position they were in? They were like.
That's where the super soldiers were looking for him. One of them, by the way, is played by Zeus, Tiny Lester.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have any talking scenes in the film. He's just one of the soldiers.
Yeah.
You know.
Also played Debo in Friday.
Yep. He's in a lot of movies. But, they end up getting away with this old car. And at that time, the girl's trying to figure out who the hell are you? Like, what happened to you? You know, how come?
First of all, that damn car, when they got in it and they were like went through like the house and all this bullshit. Like, there's no way that car would have still been going down the road after all.
Plus, it got shot up too from the back.
Yeah, and Dolph Lundgren appears in the back seat trying to choke him out, and he causes him to go out the fucking windshield.
Oh yeah, well that happens a little later on because they go to a gas station.
Oh I forgot about that. They go to a gas station first, and they kind of set a trap.
I like how there's an old man there that runs the gas station, and Van Damme tells him to park the car, which I thought was fucking hilarious.
He's like, wait, what?
Park the car, and they end up going in the room together because he ends up taking his clothes off so that she can find this tracker on him.
Yeah, you hear like the guy listening in, they're saying like, why do you always get naked? He's thinking they're doing some really crazy shit.
And the guy's like, park the car. What do I look like, a valet to you? You know.
It's called customer service, asshole.
So they end up finding the tracker, and they had to cut it out of the back of his leg.
Yeah,
it's kind of fucked up.
And they also set a trap where they wound up in the trunk of the car with all that ice on them.
Yeah, that's when the Universal Soldiers pull up. They start shooting up and blow up the fucking gas station, and all the Universal Soldiers get all fucked up. Except for Dolph Lundgren, because he's hiding in a fucking car, and they had to fucking spray the rest of them out.
They're like, get the cooling tanks, get the cooling tanks.
Yeah. The only ones that survived was like Zeus and the other guy that got shot up from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, in a way though, dude, I mean, Zeus really didn't make it. I mean, all you saw him was just like...
he made it. I mean, they were working on him.
Yeah, but they were working on it, and then later on, you see him dragging him in the damn, grocery store to the damn freezer.
Yeah, that's true. So he kind of made it, but...
Technically, he didn't make it.
Right. So that Van Damme ends up pulling off in the car, but Dolph Lundgren's in the back of the car.
Yeah.
And did you see the way that he landed when Van Damme, hit the brakes?
Yeah, he landed almost on his fucking head.
Yeah, I mean... The stunt double, I would assume, got really fucked up in real life on that because it looked like that hurt.
He came down on his head and his shoulder. And
the way he landed, it looked like it really fucked that stunt double up,
Yeah.
So that's when.
So they take off again,
but that's when Dolph Lundgren fully turns back to his old crazy way, because the one guy's like, look, the mission's over,
He's like, what was his name? Something 14. And he's like, my name is Sergeant Andrew Scott.
Right. Yeah, he's GR-13.
Gun on him, and Dolph Lundgren pulls his gun out and shoots the dude in the eyeball.
Yeah, Dolph Lundgren was GR-13.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he's telling, the mission is over, blah, blah. And he's like, my name is, Sergeant Andrew Scott. And that's when, shit, he pulls out a gun.
Pulled his gun, and Dolph Lundgren pulled his gun faster and shot him right in the fucking eye, right through his glass. And you see him ah!
Yeah, he was done. And then that's when You know, he goes into the truck.
He's like, there's been a change of plans.
Yeah, he's telling he kills a few people in there too.
He throws his ears down. He's like, he can't hear you.
Yeah. He actually ends up taking out a few people in there as well.
Yeah,
that were trying to stop him.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, y'all are dumb because y'all know he's a super soldier.
Yeah, and now he's gone psycho.
Yeah, I'd be like, yes, sir. How could I serve you, master?
Yeah.
That's what I would be doing.
I'd be real quiet at that point, you know, because he just killed a few people and he's talking crazy.
And then they at one point it gets down to like just him and those two doctors,
right? Who were working on Zeus at the time.
Yeah, and he tells them like they try to make a plan like when he goes in there for his cool down time, go in there and put this in his arm.
Yeah.
You know, like they talk about the serum, they kind of like, and
he goes in there, which I wouldn't have done.
I knew right away, right when they mentioned about going in there, I was like, you all are dumb.
Yeah.
Like,
are you really going to fuck with this guy at this point?
Yeah.
You know, so he ends up going in there, and he's like,
him in a chair, putting the serum in that one guy's neck.
They put it through his neck, and it comes through his face.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
And it was like, damn, okay. So he gets taken out, and at that point, that's when this is a cool part in the movie where Van Damme's eating all this fucking food that he's ordering at a restaurant.
Him and the girl stop at like a restaurant, and he's talking about like, he's like, I gotta go do something. Like, he's like, what am I supposed to do? Like, eat your special.
Yeah.
And he's looking at the plate, like, because, I mean, I guess maybe because he's been trained as a soldier, he's forgotten how to eat.
Yeah, he's eating like...
He's looking at this old man who's chopping up a piece of steak, and like, seeing how he's putting it in his mouth and chewing it, and Van Damme kind of does the same thing. You can see him like, this is good.
Yeah, and she's bringing him out like a lot of plates of food, and he's wondering, how the hell are you going to pay for all this?
Yeah, and he's just like looking like, I don't know. And he calls out her husband.
Yeah, well, I think she called him Hank.
Yeah.
He's like, Hank, we got a deadbeat here. He's like, what? I've been slaving all morning for this shit.
Good. Like, I know it's good.
Yeah.
I made it.
Yeah, the thing is, how are you going to pay? And he's like, I don't know. He's like, I'm going to rip your head off. And Van Damme's like, I don't want it to hurt you. He's like, what? Hurt me?
Hurt me? He's fucking Van Damme beats his ass.
Yeah, well, he swings on Van Damme. Van Damme knocks him out.
Yeah, and then all these other guys like jump in, try to attack him, and he's just taking people down. It's like after a couple people, you'd be like, why are we keep charging this guy? We've seen how good he is.
Right. I love how Van Damme's like, look, I just want to eat, you know, because he's trying to eat food. He's not trying to fight.
Yeah. At one point, he grabs like a bucket of like popcorn and starts, and he winds up hitting the one guy out the window.
Right.
And she's, oh fuck! She looks in there, and he's sitting there eating, and he's like, you enjoying your special? And he just like looks at her, gives her a smile, like, oh yeah.
And that's when Dolph Lundgren pulls up to this like club of I don't know, a bunch of guys there with cowboys and whatnot.
Yeah, and he gets out. He's like asking
where these people are. You know.
And they're all like, "Oh man, get out of here!" They're all like throwing stuff at him, and he's like,
"Nice necklace. I got a bunch made of noses or something like that," because they thought it was fake ears.
Yeah,
you know?
I love how Dolph Lundgren just like puts his hands behind his back, and like there's like these three guys, and just like one by one, just kicks them in the fucking face, like pow, pow, pow.
Right, knocking them all out, and that's when that other guy is starting to take him seriously. Because he fucked them up.
You get a shot of the inside of the truck where the last remaining doctor is talking to one of the guys, and he's like, now Sergeant Scott has given you an order, right? He's like, yes sir. He's like, are you going to follow that order command? He's like, yes sir. He's like, okay, I want you to hold this, pull this, and hold it for 30 seconds.
Yeah, he puts a grenade in his hand.
Yeah, but then somehow the guy also winds up grabbing a hold of not just a grenade.
Yeah, but his hand
but
as well.
Doctor's hand as well, and you see the doctor like, wait, what are you doing? Hey, you know.
Right.
And he's counting down, and the doctor thought he would hold it and probably blow himself up, or blow everything up, and he could get
the hell out of there
to get away or whatever.
Right, that's what he thought, but he fucked up. So he ends up getting taken out too. And that's when Dolph Lundgren takes Zeus and the other guy into a meat locker.
Yeah, and trying to get
at a party store, or not a party store, but a grocery store.
Yeah, he just walks through the grocery store dragging them, and you see the one like kid stalker boy is like, "Where's your freezer?" And he's like, "Back over there."
Right. That's when Dolph Lundgren has this awesome dialogue, going on talking about the war and shit. They're all fucking traitors.
They're all traitors. They're all against me.
That's when the cops start coming in. He starts capping all their asses, and
like the cops just like run into like freeze. And he's just like pop. Two more show the other side. He's like pop. It's like, see, they're everywhere.
Yeah, it's like, man, I'm telling you, he had the best dialogue, and his acting in that was fantastic.
Yeah.
And that's when Van Damme he meets this Dr. Gregor, and he's telling him, Van Damme, about how he became a super soldier and all this shit.
Yeah, he's telling him like why, like how he, like how he wound up snapping out of it and kind of getting his memories back.
Right.
And it's just like you had this and talk about they're locked in they're locked in that moment still, like right before they die.
Right. And
that's what made Dolph Lundgren crazy, because he remembered how he felt at that moment before he died, like how much he hated Van Damme.
Well, it wasn't just that. He just lost it towards everybody, it seemed. He killed his crew. He killed everybody around him. So, but they end up leaving, but he was going to put her on a bus, but she ended up staying, but that's when a whole fuckload of cops.
The bus moved, there's like 50 fucking cop cars around, and all these cops, and they take him in. They got him on a prison bus heading somewhere. And something odd is that there was 50 cop cars there to arrest them, but during the transport they only had 2 cop cars, like one in front of the bus, behind the bus.
I guess they figured they didn't need that many cops to watch 2 people. But that's when Dolph Lundgren in that big ass truck, they end up catching up to him.
I love how Van Damme and her are looking out the back and see him coming, like, oh shit. Oh shit! It fucking runs the one cop off the road, and then I love how he starts open fire on the bus and winds up killing the driver of the bus, and goes back to the van like, hey, you better check on your driver. Yeah, he's not doing so hot.
Yeah. And then at some point he's throwing grenades at him. He's like, you want to play catch?
Yeah.
Are we having fun yet?
They threw one in the thing, and the girl grabbed it and threw it out just in time before it exploded.
Right.
And at one point he throws the grenade, and it fucking blows out the back tire of the bus.
Blows out the back of the bus as well, the back area. Yeah. And then they end up flipping the bus on its side, and Van Damme gets out and shoots the driver, killing him. Well, before that, I like how Dolph Lundgren's hit him hard, and they have him ram right into that bus.
Yeah, I love how when he shoots the driver of the truck, Dolph Lundgren's like, get up, soldier!
Get the fuck up, soldier! And they end up both. Van Damme jumps out of the way, but then Dolph Lundgren and the other bus end up going
over the side of the cliff and explode. And you're thinking, okay, that's the end of Dolph Lundgren.
You think it's that, but it's not. Somehow he got out of that. They don't explain it.
Yeah, so you go from that to the girl takes Van Damme to his parents.
Yeah. Well, she ends up knocking out that other cop, though.
Yeah, because the cop was being an idiot. He's like, "Oh, show me your head. Show me your head." It's like, we're already in handcuffs. What the fuck more do you want?
Yeah, she ends up knocking him out, and he's looking at her like, what?
I was raised by 3 brothers.
Yeah. But yeah, after that, they end up going to the mom and dad's house, and they're all shocked.
And they're shocked to see him, and he's, getting his memories back, remembering his family and stuff. And
Ellie ends up leaving.
Decision that she's just going to, go back and get the story out or whatnot.
Right.
And she goes to get in the car, and she's looking around for the keys. All of a sudden, you see, her turn around, and, Dolph Lundgren's there, who doesn't even have a fucking mark on him from that wreck.
Yeah, I don't know how he got out of that, but...
Yeah, and unscathed, but he's got the keys. He's looking for something.
Yeah.
And then he winds up, capturing her and his parents.
Right. And he ends up calling Van Damme out, come on out here.
Family reunion. This place is great, just like what you always went off about in Vietnam.
Yeah. So Van Damme ends up taking a shotgun out there with him.
Yeah, which was stupid because he grabs it, takes out there with him, and just sets it down on the fucking car.
Yeah. And then he goes over, it kind of like the same as the beginning,
Yeah,
but Dolph has the girl, tied up, and he's like, I told you to kill this fucking traitor,
Yeah, I remember they start fighting, and he's socking on Dolph Lundgren. It's not even hurt. Oh yeah, I forgot. You forgot to take your medicine.
Yeah, well, Dolph ends up throwing him really far into the barn.
Yeah, and it shows that remember he took that stuff earlier that you're like, what is he doing to himself? He's he's making himself stronger.
Right.
And remember, he takes a big old dose at one point, right in his chest. He's like, oh.
Right. Yeah. He ends up fucking Van Damme up for a while, throwing him around, putting him through the fucking window of a car.
He finally got his hand on a dose of that shit.
Yeah. Once Van Damme got his hands on one of those needles and was able to pump himself up with that shit.
Well, before that, remember you thought that he had blown the girl up. Because he told the girl to, run.
Right. Oh, yeah. He ends up blowing her up, and that's when Van Damme gets really pissed and does some awesome kicks, kicking him in the fucking face and shit. And I like how Dolph Lundgren's like, oh, that's the spirit, soldier. And fucking picks him up.
Talking shit.
Throws him around.
At one point, he was slamming his head in the car. Like, let me talk to you about the chain of command here, Private.
Yeah. I'm trying to get this through your fucking head. Yeah.
I don't know what else to get. How this can get through to you.
Right. He ends up throwing him into the barn. That's when Van Damme's able to get the serum and pump himself up with it. And I like the part where Dolph Lundgren's like, now say goodnight, asshole.
He's like, good night, asshole.
Yeah, Van Damme shows him the needle, and Dolph realizes, oh shit, it's not my side. He's got it. He's like, good night, asshole.
Yeah, it's this. I'm not going down a one-way street no more. This is a fucking.
Yeah, now it's an even game.
Here, but it's a fair fight as can be now.
Yeah, that's when Van Damme really starts fucking him up bad. Kicks him through the fucking back of the barn.
Point until they got to the point where they got to that spike thing, and he fucking knocked him down on it.
Yeah, but even before that, as he's beating his ass in the barn, he does this cool jump kick, kicks him through the back end of the fucking barn. Yeah. And then Dolph's like kind of staggering, stands up, and he says something like, "You're dead, soldier," and he's like, "No, I'm alive." And just fucking wails on him with these crazy kicks until he fucking ends up into the spiked, what's that thing called?
It's like a shredder or something.
Some sort of farm shredder for whatever,
Yeah, probably plowing the fields
and
shit.
Right. But he ends up in that fucking thing.
You think at first he's dead, and then Dolph Lundgren grabs him and is trying to stick his head into the spike.
He takes his arm and breaks the fucking thing.
Yeah, and then fucking turns the machine on and is like, "You're discharged, soldier," and he just shreds his back.
Well, actually, he says, "You're discharged, Sarge," and fucking turns that fucking thing on, and he's gone.
Yeah.
Until
he goes and checks on his parents, and
checks on the girl, and she's actually alive.
Yeah, it's like, man, come on, like, of course the chick's gonna be alive.
Oh yeah, you can't have her passing away. But then they end up hugging. You
gotta give Van Damme the happy ending.
Old school '90s. But yeah, that's when the credits start rolling, and they play the music by Ice-T called "Body Count," which was a really good song.
Yeah, it's like body.
Yeah, body count. Body counts in the house.
Oh, body count. Yeah, like body count.
And I believe they did a music video as well on that, and they had Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren, I think.
Yeah. I tell you what, though, that movie did have a hell of a body count, though.
Yeah, I mean, Dolph Lundgren was a fucking loose cannon with great dialogue, and he really pulled it off.
You know what's cool about it, though? I like how there was like no big build up. Like, you know, when they showed him first as like, you know, part of that team,
right?
And you know, you expected maybe it'd be drawn out a bit, you know, them working a few jobs, and then, you know, but it was like right after the first job, they did all that. He got the memory, and then, you know, later on with the girl, it was like, fuck it, I'm out of here.
Right.
You know, it was no drawn out movie. It was like right into the fucking action.
Yeah,
basically.
right from the beginning, you're getting the action. I mean, this isn't really a martial art film like what we're used to. There are some fight scenes in there, but there really ain't many. There's only like the one when they were eating food, and the one with Dolph Lundgren at the end, and I believe that's about it. You know, there wasn't really, you know, many fight scenes. But it was a good movie. Good director, good casting. Dolph Lundgren killed it in this film for sure.
I mean, you had a heck of a cast in this movie. Like I said, you had Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Right, who was pretty...
Dolph Lundgren.
Right.
You had Ali Walker, you know, like I said, went on to play in Sons of Anarchy. You had, I forgot his name, Edo Ross,
Edo Ross.
Yeah, he you know, I've seen him in a lot of movies.
Yeah, he was the main bad guy in Red Heat.
Yeah, he's also in
with
Another 40 Hours.
Right, and Lethal Weapon.
Like, hey, Jack, you okay?
Yeah, I mean,
the other guy was the Iceman, but he's like that's not the Iceman. That's the Iceman right over there.
Yeah, he was also in Action Jackson.
He's also in Lethal Weapon. Right. He's like, what do you mean? Do I smoke?
Yeah, so he played a cool, that guy, what's his name, Edo Ross, he always played a cool bad guy back in the 80s and early 90s. He was in some good films.
Yeah.
But, yeah, good casting, good director. It was a good action film for Van Damme for sure. That holds up pretty well. And let's see, I'm going to give the film a solid 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah. And also, you had another good actor in that movie, Leon Rippey, who, like I said earlier, was in Young Guns 2. He was in The Arrival. He's in quite a few movies as well.
Yeah. And also, there was an alternate ending in Universal Soldier as well. That's actually very different. I haven't seen it in a while, so I'd have to watch it again. I don't remember much, but I believe Van Damme gets killed. Yeah, he gets shot by his father.
Why the hell would he get shot by his father?
Well, you'd have to watch it for it to make sense. It's in the special edition.
Yeah.
Alternate ending. where he gets shot by his father for what I was saying. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it for a long time, so I can't really talk about it too much because I don't remember why. But there obviously is a reason for it, and obviously they didn't use it for a reason because it probably didn't work, for the movie. But yeah, the movie made a lot of money at the box office.
Oh yeah, so, I mean, it's a pretty damn good.
Yeah, there's a lot of sequels to it. There was also some standalone fucking television versions of Universal Soldier as well. That had Jeff Wingcock in it, and even Burt Reynolds was in one of them. It might have been in more than one of them. But that's weird. But they did do a sequel, Universal Soldier: The Return, which Michael Jai White was like the main bad guy, and also they had Goldberg's in that. I also seen that at the theaters. That was I thought that was a good film. The second one, and then they made actually quite a few of them. There was Universal Soldier. Let's see, Regeneration, where Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren are back. He ends up having a really cool fight scene with Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren at the end of that. And then there's Day of Reckoning, which had starred Scott Adkins, and that one's pretty good too.
Hell yeah!
So, but the first one I would say obviously is probably the best. It's just really good, and Dolph Lundgren's acting in that is awesome. I think it's probably his best acting job ever.
Yeah, I know in Dolph Lundgren, he did have a great acting role in fucking. Because you see him in Rocky IV, where I always thought was his baddest role.
Right. But this one here is pretty good.
As far as dialogue, he blew it out of the fucking park.
Yeah, he did a good job also in The Expendables, but this one here is probably his best as far as acting goes. He really brought it.
Need to check on your driver. He's not doing so hot.
right. Excuse me. You better check on that driver, man. He's not doing too hot. He's fucking gone.
I still love the part where he just caps all those cops. He's just like, see, they're everywhere.
I wish I could remember all the dialogue that he said in the grocery store. He came out saying something. Damn it, my platoon's dropping like fucking flies.
And if you remember, the one guy was sitting there, grabbed a big old piece of raw meat, and just started chewing on it,
Yeah, I that was kind of weird. And then he was going on about,
he's like,
Vietnam and shit.
You don't have to be scared.
It's all types of weird dialogue. Good dialogue, though. I can't remember what he said, all of what he said. But then, at some point, it's like...
I just remember what he said when he capped those cops. He was just like, see, they're everywhere.
Yeah,
because he's talking about traitors. They're everywhere. Everybody's a traitor. And the cops come in and he's like, boom, boom, boom. And he's like, see, they're everywhere.
Yeah, because he's now stuck back to who he originally was right before he died.
Yeah, that's Vietnam. What the guy was explaining. He was explaining, that's what's wrong with him. He's stuck in that moment, right before he died, and that's what, he's just, he's still believing that he's in Vietnam, still fighting the war.
Right. That's why he went back to his old, original crazy self.
Yeah, you knew once he turned around and told that one guy, my name is Sergeant Scott, and
right. That's when he fully, turned back to him, which was crazy. Yeah, he ended up taking everybody out. I still love that scene. He's like, I'm looking for these two civilians, a girl and a guy, whatever. And they, the cowboys end up laughing at him. He starts kicking one by one.
Yeah, he's just like, I love how he just puts his hands behind his back and pow, pow, pow with his damn spit, and
he kicked all three of them. That was pretty cool.
I remember he also he hung the one guy upside down.
Yeah, he took his belt.
Oh, are you sure you will?
He's like, you got a nice belt. Can I have this belt?
Yeah. If you also notice that he collected he took the guy's belt and all the cops that he killed. I didn't notice this until Van Damme kicked him into that spike thing and looked at his coat. He had all their fucking badges on his coat.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Yeah, so he was taking all kinds of souvenirs. He was taking ears. He was taking belt buckles, cops' badges.
Yeah, I mean, he had nothing to say. I wonder how the film would have been if they would have actually filmed Dolph Lundgren saying normal, and then what made him insane. Because they never, did any of that. They just showed the aftermath of him sitting there and they're listening to the music, and he's got the two Vietnamese people tied up. And Van Damme's like, what the hell happened here? He's like, motherfuckers, you turn around, they stab you in the back. They're all fucking traitors.
Yeah, I like how they did some of the camera work when they were showing somebody. It's like you were seeing that person through their eyes.
Right.
Sometimes you see it make it look like, you're seeing what Dolph Lundgren is seeing, or you're seeing what at one point, Ali Walker was right in his face, and you see it looked like he, you're looking at her through his eyes.
Right. So all in all, like I said, I'm going to give this movie a solid 8, maybe even 8.5 out of 10. I just think it's a really good action film.
Yeah, I'd give it a good solid 8.
Yeah, if you're looking for a martial art movie like a Bloodsport or a Kickboxer, this is not, this is not the typical Van Damme. This is a little less on the martial arts and more of the acting, Even though Van Damme's acting in this was all right, it wasn't nothing, great or nothing. It was all right. But Dolph Lundgren, on the other hand, he really brought it. So you really believed his character, man. Like a loose cannon, he lost his mind. I don't want to be around this motherfucker,
Yeah, he told me I just want to go home.
Right. Van Damme's the one that wanted to go home.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Van Damme when Dolph Lundgren's going crazy, Van Damme's just I just want to go home.
Right. But yeah, good movie. Yeah, give it a solid 8. And I mean, like I said, let's see. This movie, $23 million budget, made a box office of $120 million. It made a lot of money. And after this, I noticed something. I was looking through Dolph Lundgren's Wiki filmography, and that was pretty much the last film of Dolph Lundgren's that went to the theaters, other than, let's see, Johnny Mnemonic with, and that's an old school film. I haven't seen that in a while.
Isn't that with Keanu Reeves?
Yeah, Keanu Reeves was in that. But after that, it was all straight to video movies. So Universal Soldier and Johnny Mnemonic were the last two that hit the theaters, and then the rest were pretty much direct to video until The Expendables, which was many years later. Then after that, you'd start to slowly see him back in big budget movies again. All the Expendables films, plus he was in the the Aquaman films, which is pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, and he's still making movies here, action movies at his age. I think that's pretty cool. I always liked Dolph Lundgren. He was great in.
I want to see him come back in the fucking one of the Creed movies.
What do you mean? He was in Creed 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I couldn't remember what Creed movie he was in. That's why I just said he was in one of the Creed movies.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
he was in Creed 2,
but I was always glad because you finally got to see what happened after he lost to Stallone in Rocky 5.
Right.
Or Rocky 4, I mean.
Creed 2 was pretty good.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That made a lot of money at the theaters as well. But yeah,
And it was kind of cool because, at the end of that movie, he kind of made peace with Stallone and Adonis Creed.
Right. It was a good movie. But yeah, the Universal Soldier, man, if you guys are into a movie, if you want to see like a cool 90s like big like action type movie, yeah, definitely check out Universal Soldier. It's pretty cool. You know, definitely, like I said, it gets a high score for me because it holds up well, and Dolph Lundgren's acting in this, like I said, is awesome. Good job. But anyways, I think that's about it. We'll probably wrap this one up.
Sounds good to me.
All right, so there you have it, guys. That was our review on the first Universal Soldier movie from, let's see, 1992. Many moons ago. That is it for now. Huh?
So that was many years ago.
Oh yeah, many moons. But anyways, yeah, that is it for now, guys. We're out of here. I hope you liked the review. Until next time, we are gone. Have a good one.
Later.
Peace.